And just want to thank everybody for taking a few minutes out of your day to join together. We just usually do this to make sure that everybody is feeling good about coming to launch weekend, see if there's any questions that people have, so that we can just make sure we're all good to go for next week. It's crazy that it's going to be here in a week and a half. Whew. But you guys have all been doing a great job, and we're pretty excited. And I didn't realize my video is not on. Let me put a video on. Oh, Miss Bernadette, it's so nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm thinking you understand that I might be pulling out some hairs at about this point, right? Actually, probably Connie is more than I am, but anyway. All right. So a couple things that I want to go over with everybody, just so you're, kind of a heads up. I think there are things that we haven't maybe touched on. So when you arrive, I think most of you are arriving Thursday. So from Thursday, and we'll be sending out the schedule. We just had some more changes today in going over with our buildings and facilities. So I'm still updating a couple of things, but so we will have registration open for those who, like to get things done early. We'll have registration open on Thursday night from 3 to 5. If you kind of want to come, get your feel of where things are, you are more than welcome to do so. So we'll have that open, but then again, on Friday morning, we will open registration at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm sorry, Kelly. Your team is going to be like, can I have the toothpicks, please? But 7 a.m. is when registration opens. We will start at 8 a.m. sharp. So for those who have not been with us before in person, right? We are condensing our program. This used to be everybody came in on Wednesday and we had a couple of days, but we've condensed it because we know we're hitting finals week for some students and other things. So we're trying to make it clear, concise, and we know you guys are doing such a phenomenal job of building. You don't need all the extra time for last minute building components to your rockets. So 7 a.m. doors open. 8 a.m. is when we're going to kick off the entire weekend. We will have breakfast at the college. Connie's been busy getting all our caterers set up, and it's going to be yummy. So we'll have breakfast. We have a tribal elder who will join us virtually at 8:15. And then after that, one of the things that we want everybody to have prepared, and you did this, if you were with us last year and we did it virtually, you did it. We are going to give each team an opportunity to present a slide with their team and all of the team members. Okay, so I know that a lot of times we like to introduce ourselves in our native language, and then in English. So what we're asking is, instead of doing that during our technical portion of the night with the oral presentations, we're giving teams that opportunity to do that during the welcome breakfast. So it isn't tons of time because we do have lots going on, but we're going to give each team about 2 to 3 minutes to make that presentation, say hello, introduce yourselves, and then we'll have the next team up. And you can have one person do that, or you can have the whole team up on stage saying hello. Okay. And Connie will be sending this out in an email as well, but that gives you the heads up. Attire for the day, meaning from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. Casual, comfortable. Students are going to be on their feet. They're going to be working on their rockets. We'll have some breakout sessions and things. So it is comfortable, it is casual throughout the day. I'm trying to think what else you need to know that's pretty important for that. Advisors / mentors, we will grab our lunch in the afternoon, and then we'll go to a separate meeting room. And that'll give you a chance to give me some feedback of what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, what are some ideas you might have, or things to think about, or if we can dream, what would we want to do, bring to the program that we don't already have in the program. So we do that during the lunch on Friday. Okay. And then the students will all be in another area. The judges will be down with them. And so kind of their relaxing time. Throughout the day, we will have set up, also, so you know, we have just actually ordered it. It's, in the process of getting here. It is 8 feet by 10 feet backdrop. So the students, and I can't remember if we did Artemis, I'm not even sure what we did, but so they can take pictures and photos, hashtag IMFNL. So that'll be up in the room that we're working on the rockets. And just want you to encourage everybody, please, please, please take pictures and share them with us so that we can just have some, just showing the community that happens while everybody's at the competition. So I'm just trying to think if there's, somebody said, for those who will not have the whole team attend, can a pre-recorded introduction be done? Yes. That would be fine to do a pre-recorded welcome. I think actually, boy, if I would have thought about it earlier, I'd have you all do that, because then we could just play it and have it up and we'd be clear, concise. Keep it to 2 minutes though, okay, if you can, so that we can get in all 13 teams throughout that period. And if you want to pre-record it, awesome. Send that to Connie so that she has it, so that we can get it to our IT folks, etc. And if not that, I'll actually chat with her and maybe we can set up a drive or a folder in the Google Drive, and you can just drop it in there and then we have it and we don't have to worry about getting it sent. So from 10, I think it's going to be 10 to 3 now because of some changes we had to make today. So from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is when there's this window to work on your rocket. You're going to be building your motor during that time in the morning. We have some time set aside that you'll be able to go in and get your rocket or your motor all ready for the next day. Okay. And then your team can kind of go in and out and work as they need. In the afternoon, you can still work on your rocket, but we're also going to have some breakout sessions, right? So giving students, and it doesn't have to be the whole team, it could be one student. They could go to different topics, but we're probably going to be running, it's looking like 2 sessions at a time. And so it might be, we might have one on rocket certification, right? So how do you get level 1 for those who haven't been part of Launch to Learn? But if you've level 1, what do you need to do to get level 2 or level 3 or go and build a bigger rocket? So we're probably going to have something like that. We'll have folks from NASA are coming and they're going to give a presentation on what other things can you do with NASA besides First Nations launch. So we'll have some of those things going on. Students can break out. Every team will need to get a sticker put on their rocket before they leave at 3 o'clock. Okay, we're going to shut everything down at 3 o'clock. Sticker has to be put on your rocket saying it's been checked by EEE or MARC. And then we're going to have the rockets left at Carthage College. And when you guys come back, we're going to have a little bit of a rocket fair. So we'll have the rockets all set up around in our room that we've been working in. And you guys will be all around the edges, and have a couple, at least one person at the rocket and the other, and they can take turns. And it's probably going to be about 45 minutes, giving students the opportunity to go around, look at other people's rockets, but also giving the judges a little bit of an opportunity to go talk with the teams after everything's ready, said and done, and they're getting ready for the presentation. Okay. And then after that, we're going to encourage you all, try and get something to eat on your own between 3 and 5 when you leave. you know, get a little bit of rest. I would suggest getting changed into a little bit more, you know, presentation clothing, because you're going to be in front of the students will be in front of the judges. Now, I have some that will wear, you know, maybe shirts and ties. Some, you know, some maybe just wear a nice shirt. Others won't. But I'm just giving you some suggestions. I also have some schools that will come in their traditional wear. So the ribbon wear, that's what it is, ribbon wear. So some folks will come in that and give their presentation as a team wearing that. So it's up to you. I'm just giving you an idea of what teams have done traditionally. We will have some light snack food available for the evening. So we will, I think we haven't pulled the plug and gone, yep, that's what we're getting for sure, but there will be food in the evening to snack on and have available before, and then also we'll have a break time in there as well. Okay. On Saturday morning, and I think we went over this in launch operations, but I'll just reiterate it. We open up at 7:30. That's when you can enter into the parking area. And then at 8 o'clock is when we kick off. And that's when we go through, we have to have a safety meeting with Triple E. We'll introduce everybody that's with us. And then we will also take our formal picture for FNL. So that's with the drone. And so we'll want to make sure that we're ready to go for that. And afterwards, we'll start the launch. We'll have breakfast foods available this year. We'll have lunch foods available at the launch site. Okay, and I think breakfast is going to be like bagels and coffee. It's not major. You'll have breakfast also available at your hotels, but we just wanted to make sure there was food for everybody because we're getting out the door so early. And it's about a half an hour drive from the hotel to the launch site. Maybe 40 minutes, right around there, 30 to 40 minutes. Launch window ends at 3 o'clock. You guys are going to go back to your hotels. Now, the teams are staying at 2 different hotels. Due to an NCAA tournament going on, we weren't able to be all at one hotel this year, so we're at 2 different hotels. So if you are in the Moon or the Mars Challenge, you are at the Wyndham, which is where we have traditionally stayed. If you are in Gateway, you are at the Stella Hotel. So the Stella Hotel is where we will be having our banquet dinner. Okay, so those of you staying at Wyndham, instead of going to Carthage College, you guys are going to go over to the Stella Hotel. And that's where we're going to have our banquet and awards that evening. That'll all be set up over there. And again, that's the place where we vote on the Spirit Award. So you'll be wanting to watch and see what team you think just has been, you know, kind of represented some of those core values of community and culture and just the competition. So that's what you'll be voting on, and then who had the most aesthetically pleasing, or you know, what design did you like the best, and you're going to vote on that, and that'll be part of the award ceremony on Saturday evening. We have people that dress in all different, you know, some people will get dressed up for that, and you know, it just depends. I've come years where I've been in my WSGC shirts, and other years I've been in a dress. So either one is fine, but just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what you guys might be looking at. All right. Let's see. For most of you, you have submitted your team photo and bio. I just want you to know whatever team photo you sent is the team photo that's going to be in the program. So if you know what team photo you sent and you are happy with it, thumbs up. If it's a team photo that you think, oh, I wish I would have sent, basically, if you can get that to me by tomorrow afternoon, we'll be able to still incorporate it in. But I wanted to give you a last minute chance if you wanted it. Let's see. For anybody, is anybody shipping their rocket to Wisconsin? Okay, Washington is. So Mike, just make sure that you guys are in the Mars challenge, correct? So everything that is in the competition handbook gives you the directions of what you need to do to ship your rockets. So just want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time, arrange with the hotel that it's coming, so you know that. Certification launches. Does anybody have students or advisors that are going to be participating in the certification launch on Sunday? So Frankie, you're doing 3. Are they all level 1? Yes. Okay. So we have 3 level, and are those all 3 of those individuals that went through the Launch to Learn program? No. Okay. Outside of that. All right. So if you have anybody that you know
We
of,
have one that went through Launch to Learn, but his rocket failed.
okay, so he's redoing it?
Yeah.
Okay. If there's anybody else that is planning on bringing students or themselves for the certification launches, please let Connie know, because we need to arrange for you to have motors and to make sure. Frankie, are you TRA or NAR?
We're a AAA.
Okay, perfect, even better. If could be, and again, if it's NAR or AAA, we just need to do a couple little things that we need to check to make sure that we're all good. We will
Yeah, I
have
think
like
I
Kelly.
have to do memberships for Rachel and Kaylin. But I was waiting until right about now, just because we knew we had a potential that one of them wasn't going to make it. So we were going to wait until she could get there. So
Yeah, so if they're AAA, we can do the membership paperwork at the launch. You don't need to pre-do it. If it's NAR, that's different, but if it's AAA, we can do it right there. Kelly, am I seeing you have one that you're bringing?
Yeah,
And
I
that-
think.
Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nikki and, all right, and looks like Pembroke is shipping and UW Washington is shipping. Okay, making sure I'm not missing anything else in the chat.
Christine,
Yes.
I'm almost positive that Colorado is shipping as well, but I'm confirming with the team that that's the case. And we're talking CU Boulder specifically.
Got it. Bernadette, I don't even know. Are you coming out with them?
Unfortunately not. We have our annual symposium the same weekend, so I have to be in Colorado. I'm really sad about it, but
Oh, I am so sad too, because boy, I gotta tell you, I was getting ready to pick your brain.
well, we'll figure out another time to do that.
That's good. All
Yeah.
right. So again, if anybody else has anybody wanting to get a certification, please let us know so we can make sure we have the motors, et cetera, ready to go for Sunday. But from what you're telling me, from this group that's on, we have 4. Let's see what else. There will be a detailed letter going out. Connie will be sending that. We have a hardware store. We have about 3 or 4 hardware stores nearby. If it's needed and you need to get one, we're going to have that information available for you as well. Going back to clothing, sorry if I'm skipping here, but going back to clothing at the launch site, please remember shoes that you don't care if they get muddy or they get ruined or they get wet, because we are in like a bong area, so it can get quite wet. It is tick season for us, and so making sure that you have, your spray that the students can put on before they go out into the woods. I strongly suggest if they have hats, throw a hat on, long sleeve shirts for when they go back into look for the rockets, and pants. And then making sure that your students do tick checks at night. Okay, just don't want anybody to be surprised by that, and make sure they have sunscreen, because if it's a sunny day, it's a long day out at the rocket launch. And then lastly, we do have a film crew that's going to be on site. that is going to be recording FNL, and they're not part of the collegiate statewide rocket program that's going on simultaneously. So this year we're doing something a little bit different. We are getting everybody an FNL t-shirt. So we're just going to ask you, we're going to be distributing those when you get registered. And we're going to ask that you will have your teams and yourself wear those on Saturday at the launch site. Okay, so they can throw on their long sleeve shirts underneath it or over it or whatever, but that will help the film crew know who is part of FNL versus who's part of the statewide program. Okay. Lastly, well, not lastly, so going back to the welcome, one of the things that we are going to do is we are going to have an icebreaker. One thing that students have asked me over and over for the years is, can we do something to get to know the other teams before we kind of jump into everything? So we're going to make that part of the welcome. I have a backup idea unless somebody that I asked decided that they wanted to do it. And if they wanted to do it, they can just let me know. Otherwise, are you ready to go for it? Yes? How much time do you need? What did I tell you?
We're planning to stay within the time frame you provided us.
What time frame did I provide you?
I think you said like 20 to 30 minutes.
Perfect. All right, so Hawaii is going to host our welcome, which is really what I like. A couple of years ago, College of Menominee Nation did it, and I just think it's great when you guys take ownership and lead it, because I love it. So if there is anybody that wants to step up for next year, just let me know and I'll put your name in the queue. All right, so that's one. And then for the teams that did an outreach program, one of the other things that we're contemplating and that we really would like to do is give you an opportunity. I still am figuring out where, but possibly give an opportunity for a few folks to give a 5-minute presentation on their outreach program and what they did, maybe giving other people ideas of how they can incorporate a similar program. So I don't know if anybody on here did outreach. If you did and you would like to, I think Frankie, I'm seeing a thumbs up from you. If you did and you'd like to do a presentation, either tell me now or send me an email, or Connie an email.
We can do a real quick 5-minute presentation because we know what we're going to do for outreach next year too.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, Connie, how many do you, sorry, Christine, how many do you need? Because UC Davis might be willing to do that.
Okay, I'll put it down. It depends on how I do it. I either am going to do it as part of the morning program, depending on how many people I have that want to do it, or we may make one of our breakout sessions an outreach session. Okay. All right. Any questions from you folks? Because this really, I gave you some information, but really wanted to know if there's anything left that you guys don't understand, don't know, need clarification on, that I might be able to assist with.
I just have one quick question. The Google Maps says it's about a 12-hour drive for us. So we're planning on leaving at 5 a.m. So I'm expecting to be pulling into the hotel about 7. So I just don't know if you need to let them know that we may be a little later than a 3 o'clock check-in.
I don't think so, but that would be an answer for Connie.
Okay.
You guys are Gateway?
Yeah, we're Gateway. And so
Okay.
we'll be at the Stella, according to what you just said.
Yep.
But we're planning on pulling out at 5 a.m. and we're in a 15-passenger van. Now, if we have wind like today, we're going to get great gas mileage.
It's been windy down in these parts of the woods, the last couple days.
Well, it messed up our test. So yeah, it's been entertaining.
Yeah, but boy, I didn't realize
Frankie,
it takes you that much longer, because it's about 8 hours from where I am. So, and then you guys are farther north, so I'm a little I'm a little shocked it's gonna take you that long.
Well, we're about halfway in the state to the west. So we're gonna go straight up I-35, cross Iowa and over.
Okay, all right.
Frankie,
And
that
it's just-
shouldn't be a problem, Frankie, checking in that time.
Okay,
Perfect. And Melanie, it looks like it's gonna take you guys 14 hours to come through. But you guys have a bus driver. Are you
Yeah,
limited-
we
Are they
hired-
only allowed to drive so many hours?
yeah, they have to switch out somewhere in west of Toronto before
Okay,
continuing, but
okay.
we have like our faculty's requested we do an Instagram takeover of the faculty social media that weekend.
Okay,
What is at some point I heard at the launch site, is it like just terrible reception, or is there like no cell service?
you might get it, but yeah, we're out in the middle of kind of nowhere, right? It's a state park. So you may get it, you may not get it. That's all I can tell you. There is no guarantee. There's no electricity, unless you have a generator. Yeah,
Okay, so I did tell them apparently there's no reception, so we can certainly like Instagram live from the
right.
indoor part on Friday, but that's not too exciting.
Well,
So,
and you might, like
anyway.
I said, you might be able to, I don't know if I've ever tried to go live on Facebook from the launch site or not.
There's the whole other issue is we don't, like, our university roaming thing this is gonna cost us a fortune. So I've been pushing back saying, like, do you really want us to do this? Because like anyway, marketing and communications can pay for the roaming charges, but like like, can we just not send you pictures after the fact? kind of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. And we
Anyway.
can try, you know what, we can try and see if we can do some of it Facebook Live. That might
Or,
help
yeah,
a little bit.
It's just that, like, I think we're the first design team to do anything in 2 years, so it's a really
Okay.
big deal.
Yeah, they're excited.
just
and I
like
don't blame it.
None of the
Yep.
other design teams, like Concrete Toboggan and all that, was canceled this winter, so we're, I think, the first ones out of the gate, so it's kind of a big deal just for the design team,
Sure, sure.
subculture within the faculty, but
Okay, well, we'll do our best to,
that's what I said. I said,
good skies and
I don't know.
and good reception for the day.
Okay.
I saw a question come through, asking, what do we do for a backup for the rain date, right? So, and we talked about this morning. So, provided it's not a Saturday and Sunday rain out, we will move our Saturday launch to Sunday. So we would start kickoff at 8 a.m. and we would go till the window would be open till 3/4 o'clock in the afternoon. What it will throw off is some of, but not all, some of the awards. We would go ahead with the award banquet on Saturday, and then you guys would actually be free, kind of do whatever you wanted to do during the day on Saturday. If they're both going to be a blowout, right? It's looking like it's going to storm Friday and Saturday, Saturday and Sunday, but Friday's open. The only option we would have, and it would really limit your ability to your time window, is we would go ahead with our breakfast and getting everybody situated. And from there, we would have to go out to the launch site. So we would get there probably 11-ish. Might be able to get a little bit earlier, maybe 10:30-ish, and you'd have a 4-hour window to get your rocket launched. So that's the kind of backup, and we're hoping that we don't have to do either one of those. We've only had to move our launch day once in 12 years. So fingers crossed. cloud cover, that can be pretty common, which is why we don't go over 5,000 feet on our launch because of the cloud cover. You never know what's going to happen in that regard. Okay. Mike, you had your hand up. Yes.
Yeah, speaking of late arrivals and checking in, we're getting into O'Hare at 8:30-ish p.m. on Thursday. And then by the time we get our rental car, I think we have to drive about an hour. So I'm guessing 10:30 or so by the time we get to the hotel.
Okay. All right, Connie, just make it, you can make a note as you're going back with Stella and let them know. But I'm assuming we'll have a lot of that maybe going on. Not the Stella, you guys are at the Wyndham, so you should be okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and we're leaving, I think, at 4 p.m. on Sunday, so that's what I was kind of asking about, that Sunday launch window, just in case. And flights
Sure.
were expensive and very limited coming out of Seattle to there.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of flexibility on Sunday.
Okay, and so this is what I would say. So if we end up having to move to that Sunday, right? Just making sure your team's ready to go in the morning and being one of the first teams out. If you guys are going into O'Hare and it's on a Sunday, I don't know if there's any major league or any professional games going on. From Richard Bong, because I'd assume you have everything ready to go in your cars, and then you'll go to the airport afterwards. So I would give yourself, if it's at 4 to, you guys are probably going to want to be on the road, I'd say by noon-ish. You know, just because I go in and out, I mean, I don't always give myself a full 2 hours going in and out, but if you're returning your car and you want to make sure and you're not familiar with the airport, you know, it's
Never
a big
been there.
airport. Never
Yeah,
been there.
Yeah, and I understand that the enterprise desk is not at the main terminal, so there's also a shuttle involved.
Oh, you know what? I don't rent from there, so I don't know, but I'm assuming, yes, you are correct.
Yeah, they have the state contract, so we
Yep.
pretty much have to go with them.
Yeah. So yeah, give yourself enough time. They do pretty good with most of the shuttles. I shuttle in when I remote park, and they're on the ball. I don't normally wait over 10 minutes for a shuttle on either side. So, but that is again with the shuttle to go get my parked car and not necessarily to pick up a rental. So I'm not sure, and I'm sorry I can't give more information than that. But yeah, give yourself, it's a big airport. It's a big airport. So even if you are in, you're in Terminal C, it can take you a while to get from one side to the other. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Kelly?
So excuse our naiveness. We have been checking weather.com, but are there any more brief updates on what the weather is looking like? My students are excited, but a little intimidated about cold weather. So
yeah, it's funny that you asked that, Kelly. So again, we were on a call this morning, and Connie is like, I've been checking, and it looks like it's on, I think Wednesday or Thursday next week. It's supposed to maybe be 40 degrees. Okay. But, everything has been, I'm just trying to think. Like I was up in Wisconsin on Thursday and Friday, and it was 30 degrees and there was snow on Friday. Okay. But today they're up in the 60s. Connie was telling me, because in Missouri, we're in the 80s. I'm happy with 80s.
Yeah, it's been up and down here.
It's
Up
so
and
it's just been up and down, and that, I mean, it's part of spring and we can't predict. So what I always recommend is, like, if you can pack layers, that would make kind of sense, right? So many years we're in the 50s and 60s, which, if you're a Wisconsinite or a Canadian, that's like balmy, right? But if you are Hawaii or Northern Arizona, you're thinking, oh my goodness, we are freezing. And we're in an open area, so when the wind picks up, it's gonna pick up. And you know that, Kelly, you've been there before. I think, yeah, you guys have been here, right? Yes, it's been a few years, but you have been.
We were in snow the last time, so we just weren't sure if it was going to be potential snow again.
And that's the only time I've had snow. And that's the only launch that we had to rearrange our schedule
Right.
that year. Yeah.
And then
Um,
also, because for Hawaii, we've only recently kind of released or lifted some of our COVID mandates. Should we be preparing for that as well? Mask, COVID cards, or just have
No
it in
COVID
case?
cards are required for us.
Okay,
We are not, our mask rules have been lifted at our campus.
Okay.
But with everything, I will always say, if you feel more comfortable wearing masks, wear masks. That is your choice, but they are not mandated at any of the facilities.
okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And we will not be handing out masks. Okay. Any other questions?
Have you
Okay,
ever had any opportunities where like a shipped rocket doesn't arrive on time? Because we have one of our packages that actually never arrived. It got lost in the mail.
I don't think so. I don't recall anybody not, we had Northern Arizona University, I believe it was, who had their fins break. It was either Northern Arizona University or maybe SIPI, and their fins broke in the shipment. And so that kind of threw everything off for them that year. I don't know, Steve, do you remember that by any chance? You go back far enough, I think. I don't know.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I
Sorry.
don't remember anything about shipping. Oh, but I
Okay.
do have one question.
Wait,
Um,
can you hold?
Yeah, sure.
Let me finish. So here's what one of the recommendations, if you can, carry it on the plane if you can. If that makes sense. I don't know if it's any better, but then you have it with you and you know where it is, and then you can ship it back if you want. So you don't have to deal with it, but that may be a nice option for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know how much Alaska Airlines is going to be taking packages, but Alaska Airlines has been canceling all kinds of flights.
Okay. Yes, let's go to Steve next and then Mike.
Yeah, it looks like my team will be traveling in 2 separate vehicles because the women are worried about perhaps having to come home early if their kids get into any kind of issues.
Okay.
Probably won't happen, but we're just planning to travel with 2 cars. Will that present any trouble of any sort?
No, the one thing that you'll need to remember, so if you guys are, so the way we're pretty tight in our parking lot. So what we allow is 1 vehicle per team close to what we call the pit area. Okay, so there will be FNL will be, FNL will be here, CRL will be here, and then the next is where we start the parking. And so we give, basically every team gets 1 car up close, is what we try to do, so that you can get your tools and anything that you need to get out of your cars. And then secondary vehicles, we try to put, 2 rows behind that, making sure that you guys all have at least 1 close access car.
That won't be a problem. We'll be fine.
Okay. It was Mike. And then
Yeah.
Melanie.
Yeah, one of the reasons that we're shipping is that it occurred to us that our thruster package for spinning the rocket is exactly the kind of thing that would freak out the TSA, whether it's in carry-on or checked. It just does not look good, even without the pressure tanks on it. So at the very least, we're going to be shipping that.
Okay. You mean so I'll tell you a funny, I was coming through, I'm trying to think, I was going to one event, rocket event, I think, and I brought fudge. And it was it's in a box and it's cut into 6 squares. So when they scanned my my luggage, and I was carrying it into, as a carry-on, they thought I had, I can't remember what it was, but bomb making equipment in my in my carry-on. And I'm like, it's fudge. And they're like, we have to check it, and they're opening it up and tearing my bags apart. So I get what you're saying. And I don't know if, so my husband was a professional pistol shooter, and we would have to carry his weapon to his competition. And so he would connect with TSA prior to even going to the airport for the day of departure, and sometimes have to get things tagged. So I don't know if giving a call to TSA at the airport in advance would be beneficial or not, Mike, but that's a thought.
Yeah.
If you want
Well,
to
we're hoping we can just avoid the issue by shipping it.
okay, that's fine. Melanie?
I was wondering if teams bring any sort of like exchangeable stuff. So like if they trade pins or t-shirts or any of that sort of thing.
Well, that's a fun idea, but no, I don't think we've had anything like that before. And I mean, I think that if that's something that you guys want to do, I'm not opposed to that. We've just never done it.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I'll leave it up to the other advisors. I don't want to put you on the hook for buying
So,
pins.
and
whatever,
it's
but-
totally different, because if we would have done what I originally was going to do, it would have been could have been a fun thing. I know, again, when my husband used to compete worldwide, and you'd have Germany and, Canada and the US, and, you get done with one component of your competition. The guys would be the girls couldn't do this, but the guys would be in the middle of a store, and they'd be taking off their shirts and switching shirts. So I have Germany, and I have Ecuador, and I have all these different shirts from the different countries, because that was their quote unquote tradable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, somebody put stickers in that's a good idea, because that's not crazy expensive. We actually do have Rocket Team stickers that we made for our outreach last year.
fun.
That's what we gave to kids with our logo on it, but we'll bring some university stickers too.
I'd like
Okay.
to suggest that people bring, hard to find parts and things, for the rockets. No, I mean, bring more than the stuff that your own team needs, because man, in the
That's
past, there
true.
were times when we got saved by people who had something that,
Yeah.
we never could have got our hands on. So that can really save people's necks if you have some extra stuff that might be useful.
And that's one of the things for those of you coming for the first time. And Steve, I think you're right. Those who drive, especially, a lot of times they'll throw in extra tools and extra resources, because just to be on hand and help, especially on Friday when we're working in the one room and everybody's finalizing, the last minute things on their rockets. Hopefully you guys won't have too much of that, because you're leaps and bounds ahead of where we used to be, 4 years ago when we were doing this, 5 years ago. But yeah, that, could be, whether it's on a good day, if I could remember anything, whatever, I can't even think right now, but yes, anything would be great. Even sometimes just having a screwdriver when, electric, or a Dremel or something like that can be helpful for another team. And we do have some of that. We have a vice press. I think we have Dremels on hand. We have drills. We'll have some epoxy, we'll have sandpaper. So we'll have some of that, but we won't have, a full gambit of things. Frank will be bringing things with him, of course. So, all right. Any other questions?
If by chance the entire weekend, no launches, would we then probably just come back home and find a local launch and do kind of what we did last year?
Yeah, that's probably what we'll need to do, Scott. Again, we haven't had to do that, but based upon, I would take from what we have a great Midwest rocket launch program in the area, and I know they've had to do that a couple of years where they have just not been able to launch. And so then what we would do is typically give a certain time frame that you would have to launch your rocket and present the results, in and I'll have to think that through just exactly when we'll need it by, because typically we try to announce the winner by June 1, because if Kennedy is back up and going, we would be planning for our VIP tour in August of Kennedy Space Center. Yes,
That's
Mike.
not gonna happen
Uh,
because Canada can't launch the rockets.
So
Yeah,
what's
ju-
that?
I said, but that's not going to happen. We're not going to talk about it because
Right.
then we will have all the same problems we had last year because we still can't launch that rocket in Canada.
Just to get this out there, if we don't launch on this weekend, our next available one would probably be June 4th.
Okay. I appreciate the information.
Hopefully it won't be relevant.
It says cloudy and 12 degrees Celsius, which is for us great. For Hawaii, they're probably going to be very cold, but. And again, I'm sitting here with my little calculator. I'm like 40 degree. What is that? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I'm going with Celsius. Let me get that retranslated and remember that formula. I know I was just reading something, and US, and I think there's one other country that does not use the metric system.
It's 11 degrees here today, and we were out in t-shirts. The students are out in like bathing suits tanning, or in the sun, and it's 11 Celsius. So that's like mid 50s or something. Anyway, it's after the winter. So this is very warm for us. Anyhow.
Wow.
It's supposed to be 12 degrees, which right now I'm sitting here at 11 and sunny, and it was a gorgeous day here today. Yes, I have a little sweater on, but anyhow, it's
Yeah.
looking like cloudy and 12.
My hope is 50s, probably in the 50s. I think that would be a good estimation, and it could go 10 degrees cooler, 10 degrees warmer, but right in that low to mid 50s. But again, it could be down in the 30s and we'd be freezing. All right. Any last?
Like we always have to launch our little test rockets in January, and it's like minus 18. So the 30s is great.
You're like, woohoo. All right. Well, is everybody excited? Are the students excited? Good stuff. I am so excited
Yep.
that we're going to be able to be in person. Becky, yes. What's up?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping, and I hope everybody has a good time. And I just, I keep saying, and I'll probably say it a million times, I appreciate everybody's patience, and Connie's doing a fabulous job. I don't feel like I'm on my top game, but I'm hoping that this is gonna go off without a hitch this year. So. All righty, guys, I'm going to give you 10 minutes back. And then I think a couple of